So this time we will learn about loops in Python. So there are two different types of loops in Python. One is for loop, the other one is while loop. Let us start with for loop. Now the syntax for loop is as follows. So as you can see, we have the keyword for, after that we have an item. So this is a variable name and this name can be anything. But to be on the safe side, make sure that you are not using this name anywhere in your code before. So after that item name, you will use the keyword in. So this item variable name, whatever name you give, will be taken from a iterable. So inside a iterable, there are many elements. So this iterable can be a list, string, tuple, anything in Python. So we have actually covered iterables before. So from this iterable, we will take one item at a time using this statement. So for item in iterable, then we will do colon, and after that we will do indentation, and after indentation we are basically in the scope of this for loop. So whatever is after this indentation will be executed with the for loop. So our logic will go over here. Let's see this in action. I have defined my list which contains multiple kind of data in it, and this is a list, so it is a iterable. Now I will write for item in my list. So inside my list, these are the items. So in this loop we will actually loop over this iterable object, and we will one item at a time go over all of these values. So we'll go over 1, 2, 3, apple, and etc. So after colon, I'll give an indentation, and after indentation I'll write my logic. So over here I'm just printing the item itself. So let's see how this looks like. So if I execute this code, you can see that all the items are over here printed one after another. So we have 1, 2, 3, apple, true, book, 4, and false. So have you noticed that these are all different print statements? That's why they came in one line after another. So this for loop actually did iterate through all of these items. And how many items are there? Let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 times this print statement was called. Now we have learned about range in previous videos, but let's recap. So my range equals to, I am assigning a range type. So this range class actually takes in a start index and stop index and a step size. So the start index is included in this range and the stop index is actually excluded, just like any other indexing in Python. And after that there is step size. So if you don't write the step size, it will automatically take it as 1. But let's write it over here. So by this line we created a range object. If we print the range, we can see that this calls range 0 to 10. As I said, 1 is by default. So if I do 2 over here and run it, you can see that range 0, 10, 2. So what this does is, I will use a for loop and I will use this range as my iterable. So from my range, I will take item. So in theory, this range, whatever this iterable, should contain the numbers from 0 to 9 with one step size. So it will contain 0, 1, 2 up to 9. So if I print this, I can see that it has started as 0, 1, 2 up to 9. If I change the step size, you can see that it has now the even entries only. Now there is a break keyword inside a loop. So I will do again this same syntax for item in, this is my iterable, and inside that I'll do print item. So this will iterate through all the values inside the range and it will print them. Now I want to change something, that if item is equals to 5, I want to end this execution. So I'll just write a print statement and I'll break. So what I want to do over here actually, if I don't have this next part of the logic, this print message will keep running until all the items in this range are iterated over. So it will print from 0 to 9. But I want to stop this execution when I find a certain item. So if item is 5, I want to just close this for loop and move on to the next steps of the execution. So if I run this, we can see that 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 has been printed out. So after printing 5, it checked that okay, so item is actually equals to 5. So if this is true, we learned about if and else in the previous video. So if this is true, the code inside, the logic inside this if statement will get executed. So it did print this line. So break called at 5, item was 5, and then break is called. So when break is called, this for loop will get terminated and our execution will exit out of this for loop. Now there is a continue keyword. So this works slightly differently than break. So I'll just write out this code first. Now if item is 5, so after 4 item became 5, and when item became 5 it will actually continue. So previously we used break, this time we will be using continue. So what actually continue does, it says that when continue is encountered in a loop, don't do anything in that iteration of the loop, go to the next iteration. So our current iteration item has the value 5, and if we run this, you can see that after 4 the 5 is missing, then the 6 comes. So what it does, when 5 is encountered, the code, the execution will actually ignore anything after the continue inside that loop, and it will go back to the next iteration. So the item will become 6. Now this is not true anymore, so it will just skip over it and it will print the value of that item, which is 6. So that's why you can see that after 4 we're encountering 6. So 5 is missing because of this continue. So sometime when writing a program, we may choose to not write some logic on that spot. So let's say, well, when creating this program, we were writing a for loop, but exact logic what will go to the for loop, we have not decided upon it yet. So what we can do is use the pass keyword, because after this colon, if we don't have something, it will throw an error. So to avoid that error, we can just use the pass keyword. The pass keyword will actually make it so that nothing is getting executed in this for loop. And before and after the loop, I have set two print messages. So if I run this, you can see that first print message and the end of the loop both are over here, so nothing was executed inside it. And this video is actually getting a bit longer, so I'll break it up in two sections. So in this first section I have covered the for loop. In the next one I'll complete the while loop. Thank you.